Hi everyone, I'm David and welcome to my YouTube channel. Have you been struggling to hold on to your money? Well, if so, continue watching. I'm going to give you some tips that I use that been helping me hold on to my money and get out of the habit of living paycheck to paycheck. But before I get into that, if you like this video or you feel that it's useful, please remember to like and subscribe just so that it can reach anyone out there who could possibly need some help to get out the whole cycle of living paycheck to paycheck. Well, before I start to go over some of the tips, I think it'd be good for me to give a little bit of background, a reason why I wanted to create a video like this. And it's mainly because I myself was also living paycheck to paycheck for a long time, pretty much most of my life until maybe like 2 years ago. And it finally hit me because throughout my career, I've been making more and more money, but I still felt like after maybe a week after getting paid, I would notice that following week, I would be short on money or struggling with money. And sometimes, like during that period, it was like I was completely out of money where I didn't have any savings or any type of like emergency fund whatsoever. So roughly 2 years ago, it finally had hit me that I cannot just keep holding on to the excuse that I'm not making enough. What was happening was as I was making more, I was also spending more. So my first tip is I had started to pay myself first. And what I mean by paying myself first is like every time I get paid, I have to pay myself $300. And what I do is like before I pay anybody else, like the first money that's made leaves my account after getting paid is a check to myself. And over time, it might sound crazy to some, but now the way I think about it is like I treat myself as like a bill collector. Like I have to pay this bill each time that I get paid. And to be honest, at first it was pretty challenging because it was like this seems kind of stupid, but over time I just got used to it because I know that some people might consider it saving as at the same time. Like this really is just saving. But like before, I have tried to save multiple times, and I felt like the way I was before was I would get paid, pay all my bills, then I guess have fun or waste money, and then like after all the fun is done, then I would try to save, which at that time is like it wasn't nothing that was like a set amount. So I was just like pretty much after I paid all my bills, had my fun, then I would think about saving. And at that time or during that time in my life, my saving wasn't a true saving. It was something that I treated as like if I needed, I could just pour from. And it was very difficult for my savings to go like using that method. So like I said, like about 2 years ago, I wanted to try something different. I was like, oh, let me just try to go about it with like treating myself as a lender that I have to pay this $300 per paycheck fee. And it didn't take like not too long after a few months for me to be able to save my first thousand, and then it just kept going and kept going. Like, and don't get me wrong, because sometimes just like a lender, I will borrow money from myself. And right now, like my setup isn't too crazy. I just have my regular checking account and my regular savings account, and pretty much it's easy for me to see the ins and outs. But another thing that I've been doing, and that to help myself stay on track and just be accountable for myself, or at least to myself, is anytime I take some money from myself, the next time I get paid, I have to pay the $300 plus the amount that was withdrawn from my other account. And so far, I honestly feel like it's been helping me greatly. It really does feel good not to navigate life without any type of like emergency fund, especially with the craziness that's going on. Another tip that I would recommend is paying off your debt. And I know from saying that a lot of people might click off this video or just probably just completely disregard me. But the reason why I feel that like that is has been helping me is I've been noticing like the more and more less debt that I have had or less people I owe, the more and more free money that I just had to work with. And like I mentioned before, was paying myself $300. Well, originally I started at $200 per pay period, but because I've been able to pay off more and more lenders, now I have like an extra $100 I can do per paycheck, which is helping me also increase how much I'm saving, and it frees up more money that I can go and like have fun with. Another tip that I recommend is learning how to say no to last minute events. And what I mean is, as I mentioned in the previous tip, the process that I follow now is after I get paid, I pay myself first, then I pay the other bills that I have to pay, and then I have what's remaining for me to work with. But they say if a random event comes up that, like, say my one of my friends or say a buddy of mine wants to like go to a game or go to an event or go see a show, and what's left over doesn't really line up with what I need to get to the next paycheck, now I'm more likely to say no, just simply because I don't have the money for it. Like, even though I have the money for it, I can't borrow for myself, not all the time. So now, like, because I like trying to be more accountable and more disciplined, I just been really just try not to borrow for myself, because if it's not an event that I feel that is like I can't put it off to another year and plan more properly for it, then it's something that I just wouldn't go to. And I just think that's just been really helping me like hold on to my money a little bit longer, because I'm just not, if it's something that say a friend or anybody wants me to go, I think it's just only fair for to myself and to my money for them to let me know ahead of time so I can properly like plan for it. The last tip I want to give is learning how to stop giving out money or loaning people money or letting people borrow money or whatever you want to call it. And the reason why I felt like this is something that's been helping me greatly is because I kind of got a sense that people, I'm not sure if it's true or not, but it seems like people can sense when you have any extra dollar to your name. At least that's what it seems like on my end. Maybe I'm being overly dramatic, but now, just from at least for myself, I feel like if I had to borrow money from somebody, that's just like an indicator that I'm not doing what it takes to make sure that I'm checking my expenses and working as hard to make sure that I'm able to cover my expenses at least, expenses at least. And I feel that now, since I just and plus I hate the relationship of borrowing money. Like, I really hate when like how like be I really hate being placed in a position of, or even thinking about like when someone asks to borrow money or me giving money to someone. Is like, when if they ask to borrow, now I'm gonna be thinking about when you're ever gonna pay it back. And if you never pay me back, I'm not gonna forget. It's just my mindset like is really weird, but even it could be $1. If somebody borrows $1 from me, I'm gonna remember that dollar and be it's gonna be in my mind. It's gonna be in my mind probably until I get that dollar back. So I don't want that type of relationship, but just also I don't like the that whole idea of letting people borrow, giving people money just like far as in terms of borrowing, because the only way I would feel comfortable with it is me knowing all the details of the situation. And it's like, if people are not willing to give me all the information to make me feel comfortable, and then also be willing to address what they plan to do to prevent this from occurring too, so that won't happen again, then now I just don't sit comfortable with just giving money out. So yeah, that's just how I feel about it. Hopefully that's not too dickish for anybody. But anyway, if you like this video or if you found this information useful, please let me know. And if you have any tips for me that I can find useful or whatnot, please feel free to leave a comment.